So sometimes we plan purposefully and we work relentlessly and something happens, right? So our keynote speaker called earlier today and cannot make it, right? So everything's been going amazing, so I'm going to give this a shot. I've done a keynote speaking, well, never. So bear with me if I say something remotely, anything funny, and I'll just go with it because we don't want to end on a bad note. Sorry. Can I?
This is an orientation for high school?
No, sir. No. What grade are you? Can you say a few words? Okay, just as long as you're careful. I'll give him the mic, see what he does.
Buenos días. No los escuché. Buenos días. Good morning. You're probably thinking, what is this guy dressed like this? What is he doing here? I'm here to represent every single student that you're going to be working with. This morning in the parking lot, I met a lady out there. She, one of the teachers, teaches pre-K. And so she's combing her hair and getting ready. Karen, where are you at? Karen? So there she is back there. And she said, sir, I just moved this weekend and I'm tired, but I'm here, I'm trying to get ready. I said, oh, don't worry about it. I was getting dressed in the parking lot. Today I'm going to share my story, my very personal story of how someone like you changed my life. Nathan, can we have the first picture, please? Keep in mind that back then we didn't have Google. Who remembers what we had instead of Google? What was our Google back then? Who said encyclopedias? There you go. Here you have dad on the right. You have mom on the left. You have little Rudy, little Aniel, and little Lucy. When we came here from Michoacan, who's ever heard of Michoacan? I couldn't even say the word French fries. We moved to California. And in California, we're so poor, and Dad couldn't find a job because Dad was a musician back in Michoacan. But when he was a musician, the governor of the state said, we're going to close all the bars, all the clubs. So Dad lost his job. And that's all he knew how to do. Play the organ, play the saxophone, play the drums, play the accordion, the guitar. Dad could not read and write. But I was wondering, man, just imagine if my dad could have learned how to read and write. If he knew how to play all those instruments, imagine what else he would have done if he would have learned how to read and write. Mom, same thing. Mom can read and write. When Mom had little Rudy, we're up in the Sierra Madre, up in the hills and the mountains. No school, no doctors, no nurses, no teachers. The little house that we lived in was made out of black cardboard, no running water, no electricity. So when she gave birth to me, I said, Mom, how'd you do it? What doctor take me to you. Mijo, no había doctores. Son, there was no doctors. I said, so how'd you do it? She said, I had sharpened a machete, and that's how I cut your umbilical cord. Mom was a brave woman. After that, she had little Lucy. I said, Mom, but after that, when you gave birth to Lucy, did you go find a doctor or nurse? No, mijo, no había dinero. We're poor. So what'd you do there? Le saqué filo al machete. I sharpened the machete again. Y le corté el ombligo. Mom gave birth to 3 of us, and she delivered us all by herself, cutting the umbilical cord with the machete. The youngest one, who's not in the picture, he got lucky. He was actually delivered at a hospital. So we tell him he's the luckiest kid in the world. Next picture, please. Here's Mom with little Thomas, Enyo at the bottom, and Lucy. Who's missing from that picture? Well, I'm the one taking the picture, but who else is missing? So at 6 years old, so we moved from California because Dad couldn't find jobs out there. We're going to the grocery stores and grabbing all the fruit and food that they would throw out and would go into the dumpster. But Dad didn't want to give us that kind of lifestyle. So he said, I'm gonna go find a job somewhere else. So we moved to Texas. A year after we moved to Texas, Dad got shot and killed. They shot him with a hollow point bullet that was not meant for him. Tore up his intestines, his liver, his kidneys, his lungs. Stayed in the hospital for 3 months, surgery after surgery. The gunshot didn't kill him. What killed him was the infection that he got a fever, and died. Next picture, please. When we're in California, y'all can see no tennis shoes. We would go to secondhand stores and buy clothing. Our teachers didn't know all this was happening. I knew. Next picture, please. This is little Rudy in 1st grade. See, at 1st grade, I had already lost my father. And I had already put in my head that I was gonna go do the same thing. I was gonna go kill people, and I was gonna join a gang and sell drugs and make a lot of money. But Ms. Lozano, that you see here, she gave me a little piece of her heart. She knew what I was going through. And I still remember Ms. Lozano until this day. Next picture. As you can see, it's 1st grade all over again. At that age, I didn't care about school. I was fighting, being disrespectful. I got kicked out of 3 elementaries. At a young age, I was already heading in the wrong direction. But Mr. Rangel believed in little Rudy right there in the brown pants and the brown shirt. And Mr. Rangel also gave me a little piece of her heart. All of y'all here You're gonna have little Rudies. It is up to each one of you to open up your heart and change some lives. Next picture, please. This was Dad. One of his best friends, and I knew Dad would have made it big if he would have been alive. His best friend in Mexican music, there's norteño music. Who knows norteño music in here? So the founders of norteño music, who can tell me who the founders of norteño music are? Okay? So the founders of norteño music are Los Alegres de Terán. His best friend was one of the guys that played with the Alegres de Terán. He had just signed his first record deal, and he had his first LAP 45. Y'all remember the 45s? But Dad died. There was no more little happiness in the family. There was no more going to Dad and asking for advice. A year later, we had to fly him down to Michoacan to go bury him. Next picture. He was the eldest in his family. On the right is Dad. On the left is Grandma. After Father died, Grandma continued living, but there was sadness in his heart. Every time I would look at Grandma's eyes, I knew her heart was broken because she had lost her child. When we lost Dad, we had to go live in this lady's garage. 20 by 20, where we didn't have a restroom, didn't have a kitchen. One corner we had a little refrigerator, another corner we had a little electric stove, another corner we had the bed where we all slept in. If we wanted to use the toilet or take a shower, she had built a little shed in the back of her house. And at night or when it was cold, we would have to go out there and go use the restroom. But that's all my mom could afford. Next picture. When I got back and started going into middle school, where's my middle school teachers and principals? That's where it really got serious, because now in middle school I was carrying AK-47s, shotguns. I didn't care if I killed someone. Dad already killed my dad, and I was gonna go do the same thing. I didn't care if it was a young person, old person. I didn't care. I was gonna kill people. And that was the preferred weapon, was an AK-47. Next picture. In 8th grade, I got introduced to a Houston police officer that showed up to a park in a paddy wagon. And we thought he was there to arrest all the kids at the park. But Mr. Trevino was there to give us a little piece of his heart. He said, guys, I'm gonna teach you about sports. I'm gonna teach you soccer, baseball, flag football, tennis. We became some of the best tennis players in the barrio. He said, I'm gonna take you out to some coaches that are gonna teach you even better. And so one of our coaches was Cena Garrison. Back then I didn't know who Cena Garrison was until later. I was like, wow, Cena Garrison was our tennis coach. Mr. Trevino came from a home where dad was an alcoholic. Every time that he would go and ask him to let him join the football team or the soccer team, he would beat him, knock him out. And mom would say, Mijo, don't ask your dad for help. Don't ask him for anything, because he's going to hit you every time. He's always drunk. Mr. Trevino grew up in the barrio, there where we were growing up, and he had moved out of the barrio and become a Houston police officer. But he wanted to come back and give all those kids in the barrio an opportunity to become something in life. And there was kids there from El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, every country you can think of. Next picture, please. When we're living in that little garage apartment, or the little one bedroom, mom lost her job. And we had to go live in the housing projects off of 610 and MLK on the south side of Houston. The only Mexican family there in the projects. Everyone else, African American families. There, we didn't have any furniture. We would sleep on the carpet. Didn't have food sometimes at the end of the month. But along the way, my elementary teachers, my middle school teachers, my high school teachers did not give up on me. Here, I got chosen to go have dinner inside the White House with President Bush. I had never left the South. Some of my teachers and my principals, they knew how cold it was in Washington, D.C. And between all the teachers, the principal, they did a little collection, raised some money and got me some coats and some gloves. That's how caring my teachers were. After this, we went to the Pentagon, had dinner inside the Pentagon with Chief of Staff of the Pentagon. Next picture. The next day we had lunch with the Director of the FBI inside the FBI headquarters, Director William Sessions. Why am I sharing all this with you? The reason I'm sharing all this with you is every kid you work with has the same potential as little Rudy. It is up to each one of you if you're going to give them that little piece of your heart. I was that student that got kicked out of 3 elementaries. I was that student that they would put in the back of the corner because I would finish my work and I would just talk and talk and talk. I was that kid that was hanging out with the bad kids. I'm here to let you know that every young person you're working with, doesn't matter where they come from, what religion, what background, ethnic background, what socioeconomic background they come from, all the little kids have that same potential like I did. Next picture, please. When I was in high school, I was not the smartest kid in high school. Graduated top 20. But I did have some teachers that did not believe in me because they told me in my face, "Oh, Rudy, you're not going to make it in college. You know, you better just stick to becoming a welder. Doing a technical job. Don't go waste your money. Plus you don't have money to go there, and so all these negative things that they're telling me." but I knew I could do it. So this picture, I'm on the field. I graduated on a Friday. On Monday, I was at Texas A&M University in College Station. Was I the smartest kid in my high school? Not at all. But I was not going to let the negative people dictate what my future was. And I knew that I could make it. As soon as I got there, they put me on probation. They said, well, your grades are not too good, you know. If you keep up your GPA, we'll let you stay here. And just like many of y'all that went to college here, everyone that went to college, y'all remember those long nights studying for finals, not brushing your teeth the next day because you had to go take the test, probably grabbing a banana. But I was there. I was there because someone like you did believe in me. Next picture, please. Got there, 1995, to Texas A&M University. 5 years later, after interning for KPMG Morwick, which back then was one of the big 8 accounting firms. Now it's, the big 4. I was able to graduate from Texas A&M University after 5 years. Was this kid who came from Michoacan, who couldn't speak English, whose mom cut his umbilical cord. Was I supposed to make it? No. Because I had a lot of negative people that didn't believe in me. But I remember those that did believe in me. And every time that I wanted to do something bad, I would think about those people that gave me a little piece of their heart. And there was that because of me, but I did not want to let people down like you that gave me a little piece of their heart. Next picture. We all have a purpose in life. Sometimes it's not clear. Sometimes God has to knock you over the head and tell you, hey, dummy, wake up. This right here was about 3 years ago when I was traveling down a highway going 70 miles per hour and hit a deer going 70 miles per hour. Came in straight at me. The doctor at the emergency room said, Rudy, you're not supposed to be here. Most people have these kind of accidents. 80% of them, by the time they arrive here to the emergency room, they're dead. 10% are paralyzed from the neck down, and they're in a wheelchair for the rest of their lives. You're the other 10%. So go out there, whatever you do, help people. Because God's given you another chance at life. Before this, I had other accidents. Accident after accident, I look back and I'm like, why am I still here? I believe that God put me here to make sure that we continue changing lives. Next picture, please. This right here was the top of the roof of the car. It peeled, when the deer hit, it peeled the roof from the front all the way to the back. Imagine that would have been my face. I would not be here talking to you right now. So we never know when our time will be up. But from all those bad things, good things happen. Next picture. The Little Mermaid support. Little baby Ariel. And little baby Ariel has a lot of energy like her dad when he was a kid. Next picture. By the time she was 5 months, she already had 10 teeth. I mean, she's a very active little baby. The reason little baby Ariel's here in this world also is because y'all gave Rudy a little chance at life. Next picture. There's my wife, Yessie, and baby Ariel. There's gonna be a lot of families, like my family, they're gonna depend on y'all to make their lives better. And I'm proof that when people like you care and you share a little piece of your heart, doesn't matter if you're like Alfredo. Where's Alfredo back there? Our mechanic that works on buses. Doesn't matter if you're, where's my nutrition ladies that cook for our students? Back there. And one of my favorites that was always like mom when I was in elementary. Cammie, where are you, Cammie? Cammie, is Cammie still here? Our nurse, one of our nurses. Next picture, please. The reason I'm dressed like this, I could have gone the wrong way, right? I could have continued the gangs and the drugs, cartels, but I didn't want to be the gangster. I didn't want to be the bad person no more. When someone like you gives a piece of their heart, a kid that is at, like the superintendent said, is at that fork of the road, just like the district is right now, we're gonna have to make some tough choices. And let me show you my choice that I made. This is a choice I made, not to be a bad person in society, but to be a good person. Thanks to someone like you, I was able to get my Texas A&M Aggie ring. Thanks to you, I'm now the CEO of the Rio Grande Council down in Arlington, Texas, where all the rockets are launching off for SpaceX. That's where I'm at. So if I can do it, a kid had all the odds against him. Every one of your students can be in the same stage in life like I am. I don't know why God has me here, but I know that He's here to help me change people's lives. So are you excited to change lives in your district? No los escucho. Are you excited to change lives? Thank you for letting me come and share my story with you. I hope that when you look at one of those students and you want to give up on them, you think of little Rudy's story and how he changed his life. Thank you very much.